Welcome to the Birth Squad podcast. If you're riding with the squad,
hey fam!
And if you're new,
welcome to the squad. We're your hosts, Dr. Ijama Okwando and Dr. Kamisha Thomas. We're two licensed obstetrician and gynecologists, as well as best friends.
The Birth Squad is a podcast for birthing individuals by two Black female physicians who use stories from real women to educate about pregnancy, birth experiences, reproductive health, and all things in between.
And while we hope that you love learning from our podcast, it is not intended to be a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. So please consult your healthcare provider for your specific care. And to learn more about us and about the podcast, please follow us on Instagram at The Birth Squad. And also check out our website, thebirthsquad.com.
Please keep in mind that some of our episodes may cover topics that could be triggering to some individuals. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome back, everyone, to the Birth Squad podcast season 2.
Yay.
This is our recap. Woo. We did it.
We made it, girl.
So, for those of you who don't know, I'm Dr. Kamisha Thomas.
And I'm Dr. Ijama Okwando. Today, we're going to dive into the highlights of season 2. So whether you missed an episode or you just want a little refresher, we got you covered in this episode. So let's jump right in. So Kamisha, what was the biggest change we have this season?
Well, it was the evolution in season 2 was the integration of video and starting our YouTube channel. We love giving you a face to our voices. So if you haven't, please check out our YouTube channel. Please like and please subscribe.
And then obviously we had some amazing warriors this season. So we're going to do a quick rapid fire about the season and just give you a quick overview.
So we opened up the season with Dr. Aldene Zeno, who went over exercise and pregnancy. Super important topic, and also has a book out that talks about that same information. She highlighted in her episode and in her book workouts that are safe to do, the benefits of staying active, and then also tips for postnatal recovery.
Absolutely. And then we got into all things about postpartum sex with Dr. Brandye. She really gave us some insights about how to maintain intimacy, especially at that very transitional part in someone's life after having a baby. And so I would really encourage you to look into that.
Then we dove into how new parents who have the challenge of having a premature baby have to navigate the NICU. And we kind of talked about some tips and tricks about that with our expert, Dr. Jess Daigle. Her guidance was invaluable for any parent facing a NICU journey because she experienced it herself.
Right. And then one of my favorite episodes was with our OB anesthesia doctors, Dr. Martinez and Dr. Burton. They gave us the insights and discussed everything from epidurals, spinal, fentanyl, all these different types of medications. And it really will help you all make more informed choices for your birth experiences and your birth plans.
Absolutely. Next, we talked to a midwife who also has a doctorate, Dr. Nikki, who shared her holistic approach on midwifery care. She also emphasized the importance of personalized, continuous support that midwives provide throughout pregnancy, labor, and postpartum.
And then we had a power panel with two Black doulas, Chandler, Garrett, and Mish, Akoro. They discussed the role of doulas and about advocating for oneself, about supporting birthing people, especially in the Black community.
What a great episode that was. And I had such a great time talking to them.
Yeah.
After our panel, we had a personal friend of mine, Dr. Rauvynne Sangara, who provided an inside look at pregnancy and parenthood for same-sex couples. She discussed the unique challenges and joys faced by LGBTQ plus families. She offered some really practical advice on conception, legal considerations that we never even thought of, which was super helpful to hear, and how to navigate some societal preconceptions. This was just such an enlightening and heartwarming episode.
And then we got to meet with our longtime friend, Dr. Griselda Reyes. She joined us to talk
Yes.
about carrying twins and the medical complexities that are associated with that, as well as the considerations around having a C-section in the setting of twins. So she really just provided a lot of clarity and reassurance, especially for parents who are expecting multiples.
Then we talked to one of the labor and delivery nurses that I actually work with, Deja, who shared her experience with forceps delivery, which is also known as an operative vaginal delivery. And we reviewed when they might be used, the procedure itself, and what the recovery process looks like.
And then we got into a very important topic that many women face, which is fibroids. Dr. Nikki Liebert shared her personal story with fibroids and infertility journey. And it was just amazing to talk about a topic that affects so many women and also just gain a better understanding about the treatment options and surgeries that people can do to manage it.
And last but certainly not least, our season finale featured retired Olympic gold medalist in track and field, Allison Felix, who shared her personal journey and desire for a vaginal birth after a C-section, which is also known as a VBAC. I think for many of us, Allison's story is inspiring and informative. She shed light on the challenges and her determination in pursuing a VBAC. Her candid discussion about her experiences brought a very powerful close to our season, and we were so privileged to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Okay, so Kamisha, what would you say was your favorite episode of the season?
It's so hard, but I think we have one. I have one. I think I want to hear what yours
Okay, I
is.
have
So
one
let's say
too.
it.
Okay.
Okay, let's say it on the count of three. Okay,
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Allison's episode.
Allison Felix. I think Allison Felix is just such a huge advocate in the fight for equality and improved outcomes in Black maternal morbidity and mortality. And I think it was such a privilege to be a part of her care team and to be able to have her on our podcast, just share her story and be able to be a witness to her success at having a VBAC. But I want to also, highlight some of the other people that we talked about this season. John, I want to ask you, what would you say is the most unique story that we have in your personal opinion?
I think the most unique one that is not really talked about much was about sex postpartum. I think it's something that people really might struggle with during pregnancy. And then especially postpartum, there's, body changes. There's a new whole life in your, a whole new human in your life that
Hmm.
requires your time and energy. And, obviously sometimes intimacy can struggle as a result of that. So it was really nice to
Hmm.
hear Dr. Brandye about one, you're not alone. This is something that a lot of people
Yeah.
are dealing with. And second, that there are ways to kind of get your sexy back, and close the orgasm gap. So I would highly
Yes.
encourage you to listen to that episode because it was very informative.
Absolutely. You all, we had such a great time working on this season, and we hope you all feel informed. If it wasn't clear from the beginning, that was the purpose, that was the theme of what we wanted you to take away from this season.
But obviously, this is not the end. We have a few exciting projects that are lined up that we would love to share with you now.
So, the first one we have is a partnership with an organization called Birth by Us. They have created a pregnancy and postpartum app that's designed for and by Black women. We actually will be having an episode in which we talk to the founders, Mercy Oladipo and Ijama Uche. So another Ijama. So we'll have a chance to be able to discuss with them their the impetus for why they founded their organization and how you can interact with them and how you can access some of the resources that they've created.
Yes, those are two remarkable women. And we've also decided to have a special series with them. And so we'll be collaborating with Birth by Us in a series called Her Story, where we'll really get into some candid stories from more birth warriors. And some of the topics will include home birth and having a pregnancy abroad, how to navigate those things.
Yeah. So we're very, very excited that to also announce that we are starting a nonprofit. It is called the Birth Squad Alliance, and we will be sharing more exciting developments soon, but please be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, so overall, we had such a great season. We had an amazing group of guests and specialists who were so vulnerable to share their stories with us, and we're so appreciative.
Yeah, and just to remind you guys again, the important thing that we tried to pull through the entire season was the importance of being informed and for advocating for yourself. That is the whole reason for why our podcast exists.
Yes, that's exactly why we created the Birth Squad. It's to help you all feel informed and empowered for your pregnancy and birth experiences.
That you cannot just experience the birth that you want, right? But the birth that you all deserve.
Absolutely. And so that's the wrap of season 2 of the Birth Squad podcast.
We hope that you enjoyed revisiting these incredible stories and expert insights. If you missed any episodes, they're available whenever you want. So go ahead and listen on Spotify or Apple, or log on to YouTube and you can watch it there.
So stay tuned for more empowering stories and experts' advice on next season. And you can also learn more from our amazing birth warriors this season. You can check out their information in the episode description.
And don't forget, follow us on Instagram and on our YouTube at the Birth Squad. And you can email us at yourbirthsquad@.com. Okay?
So remember to like us, to follow us, to share with your family, your friends, your loved ones, whoever. Because if you're not, do you really love them? That's all I got to say. So rate us 5 stars on the platform. We love y'all.
We'll leave you with a few more words from one of our birth warriors. But until then,
peace,
love,
and solidarity from the Birth Squad.
I appreciate what you both do. I mean, thank you so much for just your dedication and how you just, make things better. And I feel like I'm a true testament to that. And I just, applaud all of the work that you do. It's not lost on me how much goes on to that. Like, you have just done so much. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's the wrap of this episode of The Birth Squad.
Thank you so much for joining us this week. We are going to continue sharing stories from more badass birth warriors, because at the end of the day, you are the experts of your experience. And we want to highlight you and your bold, brave, and beautiful journey to motherhood.
And we want to hear from you. Tell us about what topics you'd like to hear more about. Hit us up on Instagram at The Birth Squad, and check out our website, thebirthsquad.com.
Most importantly, be sure to share this episode with your squad.
Until next time, I'm Dr. Ijama Okwandu.
And I'm Dr. Kamisha Thomas.
Peace, love, and solidarity from the Birth Squad.